book review. So this year, I had a very poor attempt at reading books. I just read 3 books, and that's not enough. It is actually pretty bad. But nonetheless, I did read 3 books, and in order to revive this dead channel, I thought let's start with the the review of the books that I read. And so this is just going to be a rambling session about the books that I read. It's going to be a review as well. I know we should read more books, and I should have read more books this year, but I had a lot of things going on. New job, sort of, you know, settling to a new city, etc. So I didn't get a lot of time. Uh, but yeah, so I have 3 books this time, right, and I'll review them one by one. And yep, this is also a sort of reminder for me, right, that I should read more next year, 2025. Let's go. I don't know. I don't want to set a target that okay, I'll read these many books or not, but I it's definitely more than what I've read this year. Just 3 books. It's pretty bad, but okay. I digress. So I'll just start. So I'm gonna rate these books as well with the limited knowledge that I have, but I'm gonna be rating them based on 4 scales, right? First is writing, second is the reading experience, third is the story, and the fourth is the conclusion that book gave me. Because for any book, any series that you read, or anything, right, the conclusion, the ending is paramount, right? It's what defines it. It has the highest weightage, is what I feel, right? So yeah, these are the 4 criteria. Of course, there's going to be a lot of correlation between the reading experience and the writing, but not necessarily as well, because if the writing is really good, uh, the reading experience is also going to be very enhanced, right? um, for example, it's just my opinion, I don't know, like, for the time that I've been reading books, I feel that it's a lot easier, or I'd say it's a lot smoother for me to read Indian authors. I don't know about the writing style. There's this certain element in their writing style that feels very homely, or rather, it feels easy, and the flow of my thoughts are like really quick in that, and I can connect with the author. Uh, Whereas for English authors, I feel the way the texts are written, or I don't know, the language that they use, it's not very smooth for me. It's probably a skill issue, I don't know, but I don't the flow comes after quite a lot of pages. So with Indian authors, it's really quick. I can just have the flow really quick. But with English authors, it usually takes a bit of time, for me at least. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I'm no I'm not a very what can I say, good reader, but I just read for fun. So I'll start with a recent book that I read completed, that is The Forest of Enchantment by Chitra Banerjee Devkaruni. So she has also written The Palace of Enchantment, which my mother read, but I picked up this book because I don't know, this had Ramayan theme in it, and I'm more familiar with Ramayan, so I felt that I should read it. And so, as said by the author, this is a Sitayan, right? So it's basically an account of the entire Ramayan story through the eyes of Sita, through the eyes of a woman who faced a lot of hardships, which is often ignored probably in the mainstream Ramayan, because over there it's a fight between good and evil. It's a fight between morals. It's a fight which shows strength, etc., physical strength. But this book highlights uh, how important is it to have emotional strength, right? I mean, some of the things that were written in this book highlights the pain that Sita had gone through, um, which is unimaginable, right? And usually there were parts where I felt really connected with the character, and I felt that uh, the character has gone through so many hardships, and yet it's not that much talked about in our Indian society. How many different kinds of struggles that a woman has to face because of the orthodox ideologies or dogmas that we have in our society. So I felt this book is really needed. People should read it. It's really good. Again, so I'll come down to the four elements. That's first is writing. So the writing, again, since an Indian author, I'll be a little bit biased. The writing was very good. Um, it took me a few pages to get on track, because usually I do not enjoy the description of the nature and the water is flowing and this is the scent, etc. But soon she gets onto the story. So that part was very interesting. The writing is smooth. I felt I won't say poetic, but it was very smooth as such. The writing was good, and the reading experience was also very nice. I mean, I was emotionally invested into the story, right? The Throughout the book, it also talks about love, and how love feels like. What are the different things, or the extent to which people go for their love. So I think. The reading experience is very emotional, very nice, good book. um, Coming to the story part, again, there wasn't a lot of difference in the story. The story was almost the same. If you have read Ramayan, rather, I think, even though this book is an account of Ramayan through Sita's eyes, there were a lot of instances, I think, which should have been mentioned but weren't, right? Even Sita experienced those events, and I think a couple of them were missing in this book. So I think in the story part, it could have been a little bit better. Um, Again, I don't know how much accuracy this book had based on the story, but it did cover at least 90% of it. Again, just a small 10% of the stories were left. Yeah. So conclusion, of course, I would recommend this book. Very, very nice book. Even though on Reddit and other sort of social media pages, people preferred Palace of Illusions more than this. I haven't read Palace of Illusions, so I cannot comment on that. But on this book, I would give it a 3/10. Really, really good read. You should read it if you want. I would not say a feminist view towards Ramayan, but rather a view of Ramayan through Sita's eyes is what it is best described as. Very good book. Read it. All right, coming to the second book by Murakami. People who know me know that I love Murakami. His way of writing the story in a magical surrealism is how I define it, because you will never you are never sure that when you're reading a Murakami book, the events that are happening, are they real or are they happening in reality. It's never really a black or white situation. It's always a gray area that you deal with. But this book was rather different. So this book is Colorless Sukuru Tazaki. um, I think this book is different from his other books because it talks a lot about loneliness. Now, usually his theme is around loneliness, lonely men who are, walking through Japan, more focused towards music, food, jazz, as Murakami is quite famous for. But this book talks about losing friends, right? So basically, our protagonist, he, uh, so pardon me if I'm going wrong anywhere, but because it's been quite some time that I've read this, but basically, he had some of his friends, and because of an event, he loses, so all his friends cut contact with him. And once they've cut contact, it's like losing a part of yourself, right? Because I mean, your friends are so important. I mean, from my account, I know, because I've changed places quite a lot of time. I have left my friends, whenever I have moved cities, so I know that pain. And if you can relate, then awesome. I mean, definitely pick this book up, because it talks about the loneliness. It talks about how, you know how there is this disconnect with the reality, because you have lost a part of your soul because of the friends that you lost. And sometimes even about love. So it's a really good book. When you read it, it really brings you closer to the feelings of isolation, but also sort of contentment. I don't know, weirdly this book does that. uh, Coming to the ratings, its writing was good. It's not too bad, but again, I have an issue with foreign authors, their writing being not that fluid. So I would not. I didn't really like the writing. So again, I don't know why, but the reading experience was very good. I could feel what the author was trying to convey. I could feel, the feelings of loneliness, the feelings of isolation, the feelings of uh, heartbreak, or say, you know the feeling that you feel when you've lost a friend, right? And all those things were in this book. So reading experience, very good, very emotional. Loved it. Story wise, amazing story. Like, this is the best best story among the three books that I'm going to review. Story was really good. I mean, the character was lovable. I should probably include a character section as well, but that would require me to research a bit more. But yeah, the story was really good. Talks about isolation, talks about lost love, talks about finding new love, talks about moving on. Good book. Conclusion. Conclusion is, I recommend this book. You should read it if you are going. I wouldn't actually recommend it if you are going through a heartbreak, or you have lost a friend, because this would just aggravate that feeling. But at other times, if you are, say, vacationing and things like that, you're chilling, this book is a very good Sunday, Saturday read. Uh, Early Friday, early weekend read, all that thing. And yeah, I would rate this book a 3.5 out of 5, because again, highly recommended, very emotional, really nice. Just read it, right? Okay, coming to Mahagatha, right? Okay. By Satyarth Nayak. Now, this book was my favorite book of the year, and it's I don't know if you can see it, but it's really a fat book. I don't read a lot of big books, and I get really scared of large books, but this book, I mean, it's amazing. I picked this up during Delhi Delhi book convention or something like that, and the you could see the cover. It's so good. I mean, very very nice cover. So, and I felt drawn to it. Also because of Shiva and Shakti. So I was like, okay, let me read it. And during that time, I was also into a little bit of astrology and things like that. So I just felt like, okay, this probably has certain themes of it, Puranas and things like that. So let's just read it. And so, when I was a child, my mother used to tell me all types of mythological stories, Indian mythological stories, and I would love that, right? I loved, hearing stories, and this just brought it back. I mean, and the most important thing, it has mythological stories which you haven't, say, heard or they aren't that popular, right? People wouldn't have told you because of its taboo nature or things like that. But this has a lot of stories, a lot of interesting stories. I mean, there are 100, of course, 100 tales, and none of the tales is boring. Even though if you would have read or you would have known the tale, the way it's written, I'm coming to the writing part, it's so good, it's fluid. I mean, out of all the books that I read, probably all the books that I've read in my life, this book has the best writing style. It's poetic, right? Even though it's written in a normal format, but it feels so poetic. The words that are used is just really succulent. I mean, if not for the tales, just read this book for its writing. I mean, I would recommend this book. The reading experience, of course, since the writing was so good, I mean, the reading experience was amazing. You know, I was really into mythological tales at that time, so it just felt so amazing to read this book. All the stories, I mean, Hindu mythological stories like have this twisted meaning in them. I don't know what's it about. It's about karma, things like that, where you know things are never black or white. I mean, they are always interconnected. You know, it's always complex. So I felt that this was a really good book in terms of that. Again, story wise, amazing. All the stories that are picked in this book are top notch, because there were a lot of stories which I haven't read, a lot of stories which have their inkling to astrological teachings, a lot of stories are which are unheard of, right? And they were really explored well in this book. So the conclusion is, definitely read this book. I would give this book 4.5 out of 5. I mean, I recommend this book highly. You would enjoy this book. All the stories are amazing. And yeah, that's it. So these are 3 books that I read this year. uh, I plan on reading more books next year, 2025. And I also plan on reviewing games. So I do play a lot of games as well. So I'll try to review games. I will try to uh, talk about different topics in this channel. Since this is my channel, I can do anything. But yeah, so that's it. Hopefully you like this video. Hopefully you will go ahead and read these books, buy those books, give the give the authors their credit, and read them, enjoy them, and yeah, that's it. I wouldn't say things like keep an eye out for new videos, because they're going to be very sporadic. But I do feel that I'll try to upload more on this channel if possible. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for my, it's coming to my rambling session.